Welcome back to this edition of the Ultimate Deck Podcast. I'm Shane Chapman, your host, and I've got a favorite person on the podcast again who hasn't been here in a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a while. Mr. Justin McCrae.
That's me.
Has been busy off being a rock star and not... that's not true. You weren't gone because you were touring this time. When's the last time you were on the podcast?
I don't know. I try to duck out on Saturdays. This is Saturday, by the way.
This has become a Saturday thing. We used to record them on Mondays, and then we let it fall. When it got busier, we started doing it on Saturdays instead, and maybe that's why. Maybe Wade and I are just around more on Saturdays. I don't know. Anyways, today's episode, we were going to get into something that we can all probably sit here and nod our heads along with as we go through this list of top 10, but it's the top 10 red flags that a contractor should identify early in the process so that they can run away from these kinds of customers. I think is probably the best advice here, right? We all know that there's these kind of red flags that if you hear or see something like this, you get this gut feel that like, oh boy,
this is going to be a problem from the get-go.
This customer's going to be a problem. And 9 times out of 10, we ignore our guts and we do it. And then we look back and go like, frick, I knew from the time that I sat down with that person that this was going to be a nightmare. I should have just walked.
Like never again, and then
next time I'm going to trust my gut.
Of course, it happens again.
Then you eat a burrito. Your gut speaks. You're like, well, I can't trust you.
Well, it tastes so good.
We're
at the
not
time.
on the same team.
It's so good at the time. You know you're going to regret it. But
That's right.
It tastes so good at the time.
Like Sean from Premier Outdoors. He spends like 4 nights a week at Juanita's Mexican Grill. Like, how do you trust your gut if you're that guy?
Well, maybe he does. Maybe he does trust it. That's the thing.
Maybe he has a rock solid gut and nothing hurts that man. Anyway, I'm sure he's run into a few of these red flags before, so why don't we get to it?
Let's do it.
We got 10 of them.
Holy smokes.
I kind of ordered these a little bit somewhat sequentially so that like the first ones are kind of things that would happen before you deliver a quote, and then some of them would happen kind of after you've delivered the quote, and then maybe some of them actually once you've almost like locked the job down. So we'll go through kind of sequentially. Is that a word?
Sure. Let's go with that.
Okay. Number 1. And so I should reiterate again, this is for contractors. Like we run a store. This isn't necessarily for us. Like some of these would apply to a retail store, but this is more for contractors who are going to a person's house to do an estimate and win a job. That's what this is for. Number 1. Customer refuses to give a budget or says budget's not an issue. So refuses to give a budget is a big one for me because you and I both know, everybody knows, the range of products, the range of price points and the products available could be tenfold.
It's pretty vast, yeah.
Like a deck could cost $1,000 or it could cost $100,000. If you don't give me something to go on here, are you shopping for a Chevy Cavalier or are you shopping for a Lexus? Yep. What's the point of me showing you 100 cars if I have no idea what you're actually interested in buying, what your price range is? The kind of asterisk to this though is that you need to build some trust before people are willing to give you a budget. So I'm not talking about people who are like, I'm talking about the people who don't trust to give you a budget because they think that you're going to try to take every dime that they offer.
Right.
Those are the people. Like you've got to build trust with people. If this is a situation where somebody's like, I don't know what my budget is because I honestly don't know what to expect this to have to cost.
There's 2 sides to it for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I think there's the reality of it. Like there's people that, again, like you said, they have no idea. They have no idea. And then there's the ones that kind of come in, or they're talking to a contractor and it's like, I just, doesn't matter. Let's get it done up and we'll give me the quote and I'm not too worried about it. But it's like, again, if you don't have a baseline to go off of, like even when it comes to like, if the contractor's quoting out material, like a design, even if they're going a little bit more in depth, I mean, they need to have that. They need to know what that's going to be, at least a ballpark budget. It doesn't have to be exact, but at least within the range so that you have something to go off of. Because
I do understand the customers who just they're so uneducated about what this thing might even look like or cost that they have no idea how to even give you a number.
Right.
If I walked into a music store and said I want to buy a set of drums, for you, you'd be like, my budget's $5,000. For me, I'd be like, I have no idea what my budget is because I don't know if this is supposed to cost me $500 or $5,000 or $50,000. I have no idea.
Right.
I can't really give you a budget. I just want something kind of mid-range.
Yeah, I think the red flag is when the customer they're overconfident.
And the red flag is when they think you're up to, like if their answer is something like,
they don't trust you right on.
I'm not giving you my budget.
Yeah.
Because they have a budget, but they won't give it to you. That's the red flag.
Yeah.
They know what they're willing to spend, and they think if I tell this guy 20, he's going to try to take all of it and then some.
Yeah.
And that guy, he's got trust issues out the gate, red flag.
For sure, yeah.
And the non-issue people too, that's posturing. If they're like, budget's not an issue, everybody has a budget, buddy, okay? You might be rolling in it. I don't care. I don't care if your number is $100,000. It doesn't scare me. Like, you have a top end. Like, you're not. Anyway, number 2.
We could talk about that one point.
Yeah. So this is going to be a 2-hour podcast by the looks of it. Number 2, the customer says they're getting a whole bunch of quotes, and so I feel like to a certain
tire kicking,
what's that?
AKA tire kicking. Tire kicking. Yeah.
This, to a certain respect, this is okay. If they're getting like 2 or 3 quotes, that's fine. That's something you should do. You should kind of get a few quotes and make sure that you're keeping the contractor honest to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But if they're using this to play on you to try to influence your price, to say like, heads up, better give me a good price because I'm getting a bunch of other quotes.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes a red flag.
Yeah.
Like, get other quotes, sure, and be open with your other quotes. Like, if you want to come back to me and say, hey, I've got this quote and it's less than yours, show me what it is so I can show you if there's a difference in what's actually being delivered here, the scope of the work. Right. You can't, if they just come back and be like, well, you were 20 and this guy was 10, so it's like,
well, you're gonna get half of the work done. Yeah,
not just taking your word for it. Show me what that guy's including.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look, no stairs, no lights.
Yeah.
Using a $3 board, not a $6 board. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, so if they're trying to play that, if they're trying to kind of posture and like push you because they've got these other quotes and they're just trying to tell you that because they're trying to get price adjusted.
Well, I think
that's a red flag.
Yeah, and I think that's segue into the next one.
Next one. Which one? Are you going in order on the sheet or number order?
Get out then. Yeah.
Tricked you there.
Never mind.
You're talking about number 6, but we're on number 3.
Yeah.
I could do this myself. I just don't have time.
So
all that
essentially it's devaluing what you can do for them as a contractor.
100%. They're basically trying to put you up and say like, listen, you don't do anything special. Anybody could do this.
Yeah.
Don't think you're going to charge me for some sort of specialty service. Even I could do this if I had the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So make sure your number's right. That's annoying. I don't care if you can do it yourself, and if you can do it yourself, do it yourself.
Right.
But that doesn't change. Your ability doesn't change my price.
Yeah, exactly.
I charge.
I don't charge based on what your life
based on your
is.
ability. I don't show up at your house and be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a carpenter are you? And I'll use my tiered price system. Yeah. That's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they throw it out at you, if that line comes out of their mouth, that means they're trying to say, listen to that thunder. I wonder if the mics are picking that up. We're going through a heck of a rainstorm right now. So
not a day for building decks.
Not a day for building decks out there at all. But anyways, if they give out the old like, just a heads up, I could do this myself. I just don't have time, and they're using that in a way that says like, listen, you better not be charging a premium because this any handyman
anybody
can do this.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're doing with that. So that's a red flag.
Yep.
Number 4. Asks for free stuff, free inclusions. Somebody probably saw a deck and it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this 200 square foot deck, and they want you to throw in something. They want you to could you throw in some side counters for my barbecue? Could you throw in some lights?
Throw in the fascia, throw in the skirting, throw in the lights. Yeah, that's
anything.
A big one.
Like if they're asking for free things before this, like at any point, but right out the gate, that shows somebody who's going to nickel and dime you right away.
Oh, for sure.
And they want to win the negotiation by getting free stuff. And it's not like
I think for some people it's all about having the leverage. Like it's holding their cards close to their chest and having leverage, right?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, like it's irrational most of the time.
Yeah. And it's like, to them, it's like, oh, what is it? It's just a barbecue stand. Listen, buddy, that's like, I may or may not need more material for that. Maybe I can use scraps to do that.
Like just the labor and time.
Like, why is my time supposed to be free? Why am I supposed to, like, that's going to take me an extra 3 hours to do. Why is that? Or I have to pay one of my employees to do it. Like, that comes literally out of my pocket to feed my family.
Right.
But at the end, you get the barbecue counter. I don't get anything out of this.
Exactly.
The value all goes to you.
I'll maybe take a few pictures on my phone to show people what I've done, but that's about it.
Number 5, wants a quote without meeting or gives not enough information but demands to get a quote out of it. So we do get this from a retail perspective.
For sure.
People will email in, or a contractor will get a text message from somebody that says, hey, how much for a 12 by 16 deck? Well, boy, oh boy, I'm going to need to know a lot more about what's going on here before I can give you a number.
Yeah, no. Just give me
a ballpark.
Just give me a ballpark. Well, okay.
That you're going to hold me to. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it could be $3,000. It could be $20,000.
Yeah.
Like
how high? Like
how much of a ballpark do you want?
Are we talking about a $1 foot board, a $7 foot board? Do we have stairs? Is this walkout? Does it have a drainage system? Is it composite? Is it treated? Are we doing composite rail, wood rail, aluminum rail? Like, holy crap, man, this could be any number.
Yeah, that's a big one from the retail perspective.
No, just give me a number. And those people they want a low number. Anybody who's doing like a good sized deck and understands what it takes to do that's going to be more patient and they're going to want you to come out and actually give them a proper quote, not just like 10 by 16, how much?
That's what I mean. I don't know how, when people, if they meet up with a contractor, or again from a retail perspective, when they call in or email in, I'm not sure. I mean, you can't really take them seriously at that point.
Yeah. So that's what we always tell people. It's like, listen, I can't give you a number based on that. Come down and get somewhere. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they never do. But those people are probably mass blasting 6 people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And trying to do it with the least amount of their own effort.
Right.
Number 6, asks you to do it for less. So now we're starting to transition away from the initial visit. Now you've delivered a quote.
Could you do it for flat? Could you do it for 10 flat, 10,000 flat?
Yeah, exactly. What's the number? Oh, my quote was 23,000 plus tax.
Yeah.
Could you just do it for 20 all in?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't understand that 17 of that was my materials.
Right, yeah.
So if I do it for 20 taxes in, that means I'm only making like 17,500, 18,000 plus tax.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this for 500. No.
It's like I'm doing you a favor, so give me a deal on it. I'm doing you a favor by committing to this job, and I'm going to pay for this material, so let's knock $3,000 off of it, or X amount of dollars off of it to make it worth your while to do my deck for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Yeah, I didn't deliver my quote with an excessively high price in there because I was going to retire off this one job. Like, this is what it costs me to run my business.
Yeah.
I do these deck after deck after deck. I don't, I live a modest life. I'm a deck builder. I'm not I'm not an oil salesman in Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't afford to give you a bunch off of a job.
And even again from a retail perspective, our margins aren't crazy. So it's like when somebody comes in, they want to buy material. It's like, well, can you do it for this? No.
Yeah.
Like we just don't.
Well, that's the problem for a contractor. They're not controlling the price of the materials.
No,
there's no room for them to move at all.
They're the middleman between us and the customer.
So any discount they give at all comes out of their pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that and their profit margin's not going to be huge.
No.
So if they give anything off, they don't profit anymore. They've paid their employees maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't profit anything on the job if they give any sort of discount.
Yep.
So it's just it's an unreasonable ask, and some people do it maybe innocently, but it's just don't.
Yeah, just don't.
So
don't compromise.
So the second part of that is don't give discounts.
Well, even as a contractor, when I'm again, maybe there are special circumstances, whatever it is, but for the most part, you're devaluing yourself.
Yes.
As a contractor and your abilities, right? So. And
understand your own value. Don't be afraid to say no. I'm sorry, I can't. You can give a reason if you want to. You can say you know what, our markup's on a ton. The materials are a fixed cost. I get one price from my lumberyard. I can't do anything less for you here. Tell them the value of why your number is what it is, but don't move on the number.
Right.
Yep. So if you lose the job, it's okay. The next person's going to be willing to pay what you're worth.
Exactly.
So, number 8, wants to buy the materials themselves. I hated this one as a builder. I wouldn't take these jobs.
Right. I
had a job one time where a guy was he was way out of town, 2 or 3 hours out of town. Yep, I've got all the material on site already. I just need you to come out and build it. No thanks. I'll try somebody else. Maybe somebody else will be willing to do that. But there's zero chance I'm going to drive 3 hours out of town.
Right.
Who knows how far from the closest local lumberyard? Trust that you did your own takeoff accurately.
Right.
Which you didn't.
Yeah.
Because you're asking somebody else to build it, so you didn't know how to build it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's zero chance that I'm not going to need to make 10 runs for extra material and stuff here, and I'm 3 hours out of town. No chance.
It's just it's another trust issue.
It's a tactic that they think that it is a trust issue. They're worried that you are marking up your materials a bunch, and they think that if they go buy the materials direct themselves, that they'll save money that way.
Right. Yeah.
And it, like, holy smokes, it's like, and I know a lot of contractors that'll say, you know what, that's fine, you can do that, but the second I need one more 2x8, I'm calling you to leave work to go get that 2x8 for me.
Right,
There's no chance I'm doing running around for this, because my price included a little bit of time for picking up the materials and for doing some running around.
Right.
You want to skimp out on that and buy the materials yourself, now it's your responsibility to make sure all the materials are on site, and if there's anything short, you bring those to me. If there's anything left at the end, you do the returns, et cetera, et cetera. Like, so that was always a red flag to me if somebody, because that meant they were trying to nickel and dime things. They were trying to find a little bit of money somewhere at your inconvenience.
Yeah, or it's like they just assume you're going to you're going to buy 40 pounds of screws, you only need 20, you're going to keep the 20 pounds for the next job. Yeah. You're going to like shaft them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a trust thing again. A lot of these are trust things.
For sure it is, yeah.
The red flags. And to be clear, if you've given them a reason not to trust you, then shame on you.
That's on you. Your own fault. Yeah, exactly.
But some people are just naturally non-trusting.
Right.
Because either they're by nature a non-trusting person, or they've had an issue with the contractor on the past, and they're deflecting that onto you now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's what people do with relationships. Somebody broke my heart one time. I can't trust you anymore. I've put up walls.
Yeah, there we go. Podcast for another day.
Yeah, that's next week's episode.
Tune in. Start talking about relationships. Yeah.
Number 9, they say that they want you to give them a deal because they've got lots of friends that need decks and they can refer a lot of business your way. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't know. Again, from a retail perspective, we get it. We'll get some people that come in. They're like, okay, we've got. There's 3 of us that want a deck, but it's 3 different addresses and they're within 3 blocks of each other. But can we just do it for can you just give me a good deal and do 1 delivery fee because we're all getting our decks at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the same amount of labor for the guys that are doing the deliveries, like dropping the material off. I mean, it's great. It's great that you want to refer your friends, but I don't think there needs to be an incentive for referring friends to what a contractor or a retail establishment, whatever it is. I don't think there needs to be just do it because you're happy with the product and you're happy with the service.
And I'm honestly more okay if they are going to line up 4 or 5 neighbors on the same street and you can park your trailer once, order material one time, pick off the same pile. That's different. In my opinion, I could see maybe giving a reasonable discount.
Yeah.
But, guys who build fences do this all the time. If they can build a bunch of fences in a row, they'll give a discount, a neighborly discount. What I'm talking about here is like somebody comes in and says, give me a good deal because if you do, then I'm going to send all my family and friends to you later.
Right.
Those aren't guaranteed. They're far from it. There's no chance that you're actually going to send those people my way. We had a lady come in a few years ago and the story was like, I've got a bunch of fences and all my neighbors have fences and we're going to buy like 20 gallons of stain. So what's the best price on stain you can do? And it's like, oh, if you're going to buy 20 gallons, like, yeah, we'll give you a bit of discount on that. That's a big order. We'll help you out, multiple fences. Okay, give her a price. Okay, sounds good. I'll take the first 3 and I'll let you know when the other people are ready to do theirs. Poof, gone. Like there was never any intention of sending us more people our way. That was just a ploy to get a better price.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm talking about. People they grind the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And then they tell you don't worry, I have friends and family I'll send your way if you give me a good deal. Listen, I don't want to deal with them grinding me either.
Exactly. Because chances are they're going to do the same thing.
I don't want. Please don't send your family. They're going to run out of friends
eventually. It's like you got no friends left. They all came here and they all did the same thing.
I don't want them. If they're going to grind me like you're grinding me, I don't want your friends and family here. Exactly. Forget it. So that's a big one. I hate that one. Number 10. Like that one really. Some of these really fired me up. I just don't like them.
We were trying. Let's see if we can find like 4 or 5 different items to talk about. You're like, I got 10, and it was like, holy.
This was supposed to be a top 5 list. It's now a top 10 list, and it could have been a top 20 if I would have sat down for 5 more minutes. I'm sure. Number 10, they want input into how it's built. And now I'm not talking about they're saying I want this kind of rail. Of course they get input into that. They want double picture frame. Of course they get input to that. I'm talking about the people who are like, why are you building it that way? Shouldn't you be putting something there? I built a deck one time and we had to do it like this, and they're hovering over you and telling you that they want.
They're professionals.
Yeah. And I know a lot of guys run into this issue when they do jobs for architects and engineers and guys who are in the industry who are who think that they should
on paper
oversee
on paper
it.
or computer screen, it's perfect, right?
And
it should be translated down onto like in real life applications. And
yeah, the reason you're hiring this contractor is because they know what they're doing. As long as you've hired a good one, they should know. They should know what they're doing. You should trust them. You shouldn't be inputting into how the deck is built. There's certain things you do get to choose. Do you want to use, helical piles versus concrete piles? Sure, give them somebody the choice. Mm-hmm. But when you have somebody who's like, I don't like how you frame that, you should be putting blocking here, go away. Red flag.
Or it's like, okay, that's no problem. I'm just going to charge you the labor to like tear this apart and do it how you would like me to do it, and it's not going to be nearly as good, structurally sound. It's going to be way more. It's going to cost you way more money in the long run than just letting me do my job.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's a red flag to me too. That's 10. Like we flew through those kind of, and like I said, I could probably get 10 more. Want to keep going just off the top of our heads? You want to go? Well, should we go over these again?
Sure.
So the point of this is, if you see these, I'm going to end this live. We're on Instagram Live. We're going to end it now. And we're just going to go straight to podcast only. If you see any of these things and you get a gut feeling that this customer is going to be a pain in your butt, trust it. There's more customers. There's more people who need decks. You don't need to be hassled by this. The stress it's going to bring you is not worth the few dollars you're going to make on that job. There's more jobs you can bring. Work for good customers. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you.
Yeah,
People say that all the time.
And usually when it comes to this, there's not a lot of times in this case, there's a few of these points apply to one particular scenario. It's not like every job doesn't have just one, like refuses to give a budget. Usually the people that refuse to give a budget, it's not an issue. They fall on the line like they want you to do it for less, so they want you to throw in free stuff. Like it's there many points can actually be applied to the same job, the same
100%.
The same person.
Yeah, you might hit one of these points and it might be like, that sets off a bit of a red flag for me. If it's just one, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe it's not a huge red flag. You start checking a few off this list, run. Like leave your truck running, get the hell out,
peace out,
and go. You get all 10 on this list, and you should start a website about this person and warn nobody to ever go to their house to do a job ever. I think this is a good one. This is a good one for people to listen to. I'm guessing that a lot of contractors are going to listen to our top 10 here and sit there and nod their heads at everyone and be like, yep, had that before. Yep, had that before. If there's something missing from this list that you guys have experienced that was a giant red flag for you, start a conversation on Instagram on our post. We'll post about the podcast, reply to it, comment about your experiences, or send us a DM, tweet us on Twitter, whatever, and let's chat about those things. But just to rehash real quick, number 1 was they refuse to give a budget, or they claim that budget's not an issue. Number 2 says they're getting a bunch of quotes from people and they're using that as leverage to try to get a price down on you. Number 3, they tell you, I could do it myself. Anybody could, but I just don't have time.
So annoying.
Number 4, asks for free stuff to be included on your dime. Number 5, wants to get a quote without meeting you or giving you not enough information, just like give me a number based on 10 by 12. Number 6, asks you to do it for less, so you deliver a quote and they try to grind you down to some number just because. Some people do that because they're cheap, and some people do it because they just like to negotiate and win. Yeah. They just like to have that leverage. Number 7, did we talk about this one? We skipped one.
Oh yeah, we skipped one.
We skipped. This is number 10. Won't leave a deposit. How did we skip that? I checked it off even. Won't leave a deposit. Somebody out there is like, that was only 9. That was only 9. This isn't a top 10 list.
Right. Number 7.
Number 7 won't leave a deposit.
Yeah.
So you've delivered the quote. They say, yep, I'd like to book in. And you're like, say, sounds good. I need X dollars to book in. And they say, nope, not paying you anything till you're done. Run.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Why am I financing your job?
Yeah.
And if you decide at the end that because these are the type of people who at the end would be like, I don't like that cut there's off by a 32nd of an inch. Yeah. I'm not paying until you fix that. Like those are the kind of people that do that to you.
Yeah, and that's when you end up losing money because you're making 3 or 4 trips back to
10 times
whatever
over.
It is, fix some sort of minor detail that's going to be hidden by a planter.
And what if that's a $30,000 job?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a $20,000 account at your lumberyard that you owe on now. They're not paying you. Like that could one job like that could.
You're 30 days overdue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they won't leave a deposit, now there's some states and provinces that have rules around how much of a deposit you can take, and I think it's so unfair because, in my personal opinion, the materials that are on the person's property that become owned by the customer, those should be paid for before.
Yeah, exactly.
So when I was building, I a lot of times would ask for 75% because those or pay the material, total materials, because those are yours now. If you decide to to balk on me here and run, I can't take those back. I can't take the materials back.
Yeah.
So why am I financing it?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I know that there's some states, I think like California, I could be wrong, California Deck Pros can correct me on this, but there's some states that say you can't take a deposit of more than 25% of the total or some like arbitrary number, and it's small. So it's like you do you book a job, it's $100,000, you have to fork out $70,000 in materials, and you're only allowed to take a $25,000 deposit.
How does that work though? Like, couldn't you, as like $25,000, say $100,000, 25% off the top, it's $25,000. Is it one of those things where the customer's not required to pay you until the job is finished, or is it something?
Well, you could do like a progress payment or something. You could do a progress payment. It could be 20, and I don't know how those rules work in states where they monitor, like where they have legislation that says whatever your pay, how much your maximum deposits can be, whatever. They might have a max. It might be like you can collect a progress payment at 50% of the job's completion or something like that. Like you can do that, but I'm more talking about like I don't think that the contractor should be out for all the materials that are going to somebody else's job.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I don't know. So I was always a fan of that. I know that's a hard ask. I know for contractors that are operating just out of a truck and maybe they don't have a showroom and an office, and so it's harder to build trust with people. It's tough to get people to want to say like, boy, I just met you. Sure, I'm going to give you 75%. That's a pretty big ask. I understand that.
Yeah.
But you got to get something. So
you do.
You also have to get something for your own schedule. Like you can't promise people you're going to book them in, book up your summer, turn down other jobs, and have somebody flake out. So you're like, I changed our mind. We're not going to do it next year.
Well, that's the thing. You have 6 potentials. You're like, okay, I got 6 people that are probably going to go ahead with it. What happens if all 6 of those people back out?
Yeah.
You're turning down other jobs.
You've turned down other people. They've gone
these jobs to be confirmed.
Gone to other people. Now you're sitting duck. So like, God, at the bare minimum, you got to take something significant to make sure that people are serious about booking you in and.
Yeah,
like I said,
make it a significant enough number that it's not going to be something that they give you and then they just peace out anyway.
Yeah, I know a lot of contractors that shop here, even at our store, they'll come in, they'll give you a takeoff, or we'll do the takeoff for them, or whatever. Get the quote, they'll deliver that quote to the customer, and the customer will pay for it. The customer will call down or come down, and they'll pay for the materials before it goes out.
Right.
Do it that way. Fine. If there's a trust issue of somebody handing over money to you because they think like, boy, I don't really know you, they'd feel a lot more comfortable walking into a lumberyard that's been around for a few years and paying it there. Yeah. That they probably wouldn't hesitate on whatsoever. So if you need to do it that way, say, okay, I'm going to take $500 to book in, to schedule in, to make sure that we're doing this for sure. Yeah. But before those materials get delivered, you need to go into the Ultimate Deck Shop, pay off the bill, here's the quote number, and then the materials get delivered and they're paid for, and then great, I'll collect my install portion at the end. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair for everybody. So anyways, we missed that one. So we're going through the review here. That was number 7. Unless you're keeping track on paper, then your number's gonna be all messed up. But number 8 was wants to buy the material themselves. So that's not what I was just talking about.
Another trust issue.
Like they can come down and pay for the materials that you ordered, but if they say like, no, I'm gonna go to Home Depot and grab all my own stuff and whatever. That's
I just want you to come and install it. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be a hassle. Number 9 says if you give them a deal, they'll send their friends your way. They've got so many friends who want to grind you too. That's always a good one. And finally, number 10 wants input into how you're building the deck. Right. So I always like when people, I don't think I would ever have the guts to say this to somebody, but I love when I hear stories when this happens and somebody's like, well, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a dentist. Oh, okay, so I can come down and tell you how to grind out a tooth and put a filling in next week? Can I give you instruction on how that should be done? Yeah, exactly. Let me be the expert. I've been doing this for 10,
Everybody's
years.
A professional until they're on the tools.
Yeah, that's right. So that's our top 10, 9/10, got a 10th one in there, of red flags, what to look out for when you are bidding jobs. Yeah. This is a good one. This might be the most valuable one we've ever had.
Okay, but we say that every time though.
We do. But this is a good one.
This is probably the best one.
Anyway, we are looking for more topics. Let us know what's working for you guys. Let us know if you put any of this stuff into action. I had a guy message me, and I don't remember his handle off the top of my head, sent me a message and was like, you know what? Because I keep the last 3 episodes I've been saying, like, we're going to get back to the interviews because some people really like the interviews. They like to hear people's past, and we're going to get back to it. But somebody that I was just messaging with the other day on Instagram was like, dude, I love the more technical ones, the educational ones. He's like, I've used your tips and stuff that you've been giving on these things to win jobs. Like I literally just won a job because I sounded like an expert to that customer because I had learned a bunch of stuff from your podcast.
Oh, cool.
So I love those ones. And so I was trying to think today about him a little bit, be like, he gave me some topics, but this one popped into my head. I was like, he could use this one.
Yeah, for sure.
He could walk in and get some tips out of this, right? And you get a bad feeling, bad vibe.
Yeah.
If you guys run away from a job because of what we talked about today, let us know. That'd be very rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is all for today. On behalf of myself, Shane Chapman, Justin McCrae, and the Ultimate Deck Shop, this is the Ultimate Deck Podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Later.